Hi, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining in once again for day two of Deep Tech Innovation Alley, a virtual event, fourth edition, organized by Network Science, its ecosystem partners, clients, and various other members who come together to bring deep tech and the innovation that it brings together in the forefront in front of our clients. Over the last 3 years, we have seen a massive amount of change that has happened in the acceptance of deep tech. And as you know, deep tech is an umbrella term being used for emerging future technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics, and the like. I'm very glad that we are able to bring together an event where practitioners, CEOs, ecosystem partners, and of course, mainly the innovators, the startups ecosystem, are able to come together and present what the possibilities of deep tech are all about. Day one that we saw had immense participation from various industry leaders as well as the audience. We had more than 100 participants who came together, asked a lot of questions, but we had very vibrant conversations on day one, which was focused on corporate innovation and adoption of AI in corporates. Today, the whole focus is around sustainability. And with sustainability, of course, there is such a vast area of topic that we need to now focus on execution of sustainability initiatives to achieve certain objectives that every organization is now working towards. We will start with a fireside chat with a sustainability innovator who, in our opinion, is really changing the world, making the world a much better place for us to live. And I can guarantee you that you will be completely inspired with this gentleman that I'm going to speak about. Next comes a new innovative solution/service that Network Science is launching, where we shall be helping organizations to achieve their net zero objectives at zero cost. Essentially means that organizations need not spend insane amount of money to achieve net zero targets, but Network Science will find ways of funding it through the internal approval systems and finding optimization areas from the enterprise itself. As we move forward, you will also see two amazing startups, award-winning startups, coming together and presenting something as we call as a green Fitbit of how do you measure the ESG, measure ESG for various organizations, and at the same time, how do you create a carbon exchange on blockchain? And that's something that I'm sure you will get great ideas from, and you will be able to possibly implement those in your own environments. I'm also very looking forward to a panel discussion of practitioners, academicians, as well as industry leaders who are coming together in the last session of the day, where we'll speak about how do you future-proof the planet and how are the synergies between sustainability and deep tech coming together. Having said that, let's start with a fireside chat with a sustainability innovator who's planting a lot of trees, and we've been partnering with Apurva's organization by the name of Sankalptaru Foundation, and I'm very glad to have him on stage now. Apurva, welcome to the Deep Tech Innovation Alley, and I'm very glad to have a conversation with you today.
Hi, Sandy. Thank you so much for having me here, and I'm absolutely looking forward to share my experiences with the audience. Hello, everyone.
Absolutely, Apurva. I know we showed some snippet about your background, but I think it's very important for you to put the perspective about your experience, as well as give an opening remarks about what are you doing in Sankalptaru, and we'll take it from there.
So, yes, I mean, briefly introducing myself. So, I hail from the hills of Uttarakhand, and that's where my love and affection towards Mother Nature grew up. And then slowly and gradually, as I moved to bigger cities from that small town I was born, I saw that really I'm going away from nature. Um, so, I started my career with oil and gas company, then moved to IT, tried so many things, but then I was always looking for something which is fulfilling enough, which gives me an opportunity to connect back with nature and society. So in 2012, that's how Sankalptaru was founded. And then I thought how to basically bring transparency in the entire process, because every year we plant so many trees, but then we don't know how many of them have survived next year. Sometimes we planted the same place where we might have planted the last year, because trees might not have survived the same place. So, we always wanted to uh, create a platform which is very, very convenient enough for our contributors to plant trees from anywhere, like anywhere, in that sense, like, from airport, from a moving bus, from home, offices, anywhere. So we created this platform called Sankalptaru, where people can plant trees. They choose various options to plant trees or to greet, right? So someone can plant a birthday tree, someone can wish someone a rapid or recovery, right? Or memorial tree, anything, or good luck. So that way, that's on the convenience front, Sandy. But we thought how IT technology can really bring, uh, really bring that transparency in the whole process. How we can track the trees, how we can measure the impact. So we brought this concept of geotagging each and every tree, where whatever virtual trees you might have planted, geotag and photograph them, and then you get to see those trees on Google Map. And then in case you want to visit your tree, you can come and visit. So that's how we created a platform, and we have been planting trees across 26 states, um, across India. And so that's about me and the initiative in brief.
No, absolutely inspiring, Apurva. And when I, as network science, when we got to know about your organization and the vision that you have, as well as the whole concept of trust that you build using technology, I think we were clearly inspired. And thankfully, with your and your team's support, we've already planted close to 200 trees from network science perspective, because
Okay.
for every client that we sign, we plant a tree. I mean, just a way for us to, one, keep motivating ourselves. So we got to win more contracts so that we can plant more trees. But at the same time, we also convert that into a beautiful certificate that your team prepares for us. And there's a QR code that we send it out to these to our clients, and the responses we get when we send out that certificate and the QR code is just amazing. It feels so good, It's so, apart from a commercial, the happiness that we get because of doing something for the company for commercially, there is also an emotional attachment that we get because we planted a tree, and of course now we can transparently see, and track the tree over its lifetime. It's just a brilliant concept, and congratulations to you and
Thank
your
you.
team for making that happen for us.
Thank you so much. And I'm very glad that, network science has taken that lead in joining the force. And I'm sure this relationship of ours will grow taller and deeper along with the trees which we plant.
Very well said, Apurva. I'm also, as we had committed to everyone who's attending this session, as well as any of the other sessions during the event of ours, we said for every participant, we again will plant one tree.
Okay.
And again, using your platform, you're going to do that. So I do expect close to about 1,000 trees getting planted because of this event itself. So let's see how it goes. I will continue to urge the audience to more and more participate, come back to sessions so that we can plant a tree on their behalf. Uh, Apurva, coming back to some of the, let's look at the backstory. I'm always interested to know the backstory of founders, of what really happened, and why did you start something like Sankalptaru?
Um, so the kind of uh, challenge we are facing today, right? Be it climate change, global warming, or deforestation, right? The rampant speed of trees being cut. So that way, we all are facing the consequences today, right? So, you know, in the same month, we have shivering cold, like in month of May, right? So last to last month, we saw then scorching summer, we saw hailstorms, we saw hurricane, and things like that. So um, we thought, okay, the climate change is a big problem, and probably if we have to fight uh, this battle against climate change, certainly tree plantation or afforestation is a larger weapon we have, right? Bringing back trees which are being chopped off, and so that's one way. So that's on the challenge front. But then other challenges as well, which we saw, like the tree plantation activity sometimes is seen as a sometime one-time activity, right? So like you're planting trees on World Environment Day, clicking or on Independence Day, New Year, and things like that. So we thought how we can organize this, how we can really make this tree plantation activity as an ongoing one. As you rightly mentioned, that I'm glad that network science has now made it as part of their process, right? Every contract which they sign. So how it could be an ongoing process for everyone to plant a tree and conveniently. So we created this online platform where people can conveniently come plant trees for any occasion, which list of occasions is like very long, which people can choose from, and then plant a tree. Because people used to complain, hey, I'm in Bangalore, there are no places around, where could I plant a tree, or I'm in Gurgaon. So we thought, okay, let's give that convenient platform to people to plant trees. And then uh, on the other we had seen was like lack of transparency in the process. People had that apprehension, okay, if I donate this money to this NGO to plant a tree, whether they would plant a tree for me or not, or if they at all plant, where are they going to do it? Is that going to survive? What kind of impact is going to make? So there are so many questions in donors' mind, so among them. So we thought, okay, so this platform which we'll create will not be only convenient for people to plant, but then they can track trees. They would get to know where it was planted, on which date it was planted, which species it was planted, which farmer beneficiaries field it was planted, and things like that. And if they wish to visit, they can. So we brought this concept of geotagging and photographing each and every tree, sharing more and more details of the planted tree with our donors, and creating a virtual forest for them, so that every time they get to see that virtual forest, it connects them back physical trees on ground. So I mean, that was something which really propelled us to create this platform. And then at a greater level, I mean, as I mentioned, we are fighting against climate change, everyone. So it's like by the people, other people kind of movement, where everyone is doing their bit to fight against that challenge of climate change and global warming.
Which is awesome. Apurva, most of the NGOs that we speak to, organizations which are for social impact, they don't take technology as the foundation of their organization, right? That's always an afterthought, and they always feel that technology does not need to get invested. I mean, you don't need to invest in technology for doing social good. But you are a different organization, looks like, right? You're using technology to actually make things happen. Uh, so when did you start implementing or using technology in this entire process? Was it on day one, or did it come along the way? Can you just help us understand that process and the thinking of yours in that direction?
Yes, Sandy. So you rightly pointed out that mostly non-profits, they work like very conventionally. Probably they're the late adapters of of technology. So in our case, we thought, okay, if we have to fight, our battle climate change, though I'm repeating it, but then if we have to really fight against it, so we should have the technology in place which will really enable us. So one was of course, to get that scale, to really plant those many trees, create transparency and all. The other one was to inspire other peers as well in the non-profit sector that, hey, if you have to really catch up with the pace or the trend, because technology adoption is everywhere now, right? From anything we do or wherever we transact today, it's all technology enabled now. So we really want to encourage our peers as well that, hey, let's go for technology adoption, and then makes things uh, convenient. But let's make things very credible, transparent, for our donors, and it's a win-win situation if you see, right? So you really create transparent platform, you get more donors supporting you. So that's how it is.
Right, right. No, absolutely, absolutely the right direction. And we also believe that it's, we can do so much more using technology, and especially now with deep tech, than otherwise. So organizations, whether for profit or not for profit, should always think technology first, deep tech first, because that's what we use in our daily life as well.
Correct.
As you rightly said. Uh, there are so many use cases of bringing business benefits and social entrepreneurship together. For example, one of the things that I was exposed to some time back was there's a company trying to do surveys, employee surveys or contract surveys, or normal surveys, and uh, we all know that the number of people who respond to surveys is abysmal, 3-5%, maybe 10%. If it's a corporate, maybe 20-30%. But how do you increase the number of people who respond to the surveys? So the idea was, can I actually show that if there are 5 questions, for each question you've planted 20% of a tree? It actually visually shows you that. So
Exactly,
as you go along, so you have got 5 questions. It
Yeah.
basically motivates the person who's taking the survey to say, hey, answer the second, answer the third, answer the fourth, answer the moment you answer the fifth, you would actually have got a 1 full tree donated or planted on your behalf because you've completed this.
Yeah.
I just love the concept, right?
Yeah.
And
So
you're encouraging people both to do business and commercial transaction. On the other side, you're encouraging people to say, hey, I can actually on your behalf go ahead and plant a tree and feel good about that.
yeah, so certainly it does, and that way, we have been linking with so many causes now. So in fact, during COVID, we launched a campaign where it was like a one tree, one meal. So you sponsor one meal for people who are badly affected because of the lockdown and situation, and then we plant a tree for you. So I mean, that way the campaign really picked up, and we had so much of donations around that time when, in fact, people were little cautious about spending. So yes, innovative things really work, but you have to really um, maintain that traction with donors, convince them that yes, every bit would count, and then certainly the support follows.
Right, right. I also heard about transparency that you mentioned, that it's become a core foundational layer of your technology as well as the work that you undertake. How are you doing that? Are you using blockchain? What's the thought behind that?
Yes. So, Sunny, I'll answer that way. So, you asked me previously as well that how technology adoption happened at Sankalptaru. Was it part of day one activity or gradually? So, certainly, raising bar of transparency and credibility over a period of time. So, suppose initially we started with geotagging, then we added more features to it, like showing entire beneficiary details, integrating it with Google APIs and things like that. So over a period of time, certainly we have built this platform with a lot of innovative things, which in a way bring that kind of transparency to donors. And then off late, we have been thinking that people might think that we might be duplicating records, or same tree we might be tagging again and again and showing it to our donors. So we thought of yeah, we thought of raising that bar right, of transparency, credibility, and all, and then how to communicate it to the donors that yes, the data is very unique, data is auditable, data is sitting outside Sankalptaru's server as well, like on blockchain registry. So we thought, okay, let's go ahead with tokenizing, every tree we plant, and then of course the motive was non-commercial. So we thought, if we can tokenize each and every tree, it will have, unique record for it, which can be traced on the blockchain registry. So we started this initiative, Sandy, about a year back. I'm very glad that it has been well appreciated by entire donor community of ours, because not only it is creating transparency or visibility, it is also building that kind of confidence among our donors that hey, Kalturu is among the early adopters of technology and going for it, and that really boosts the confidence in the organization. And so yes, it has been
Of
helping,
course.
and we are still looking out more and more options for integrating blockchain to our other causes as well, which Sankalptaru work for.
Sure. I'm actually reminded, Apurva, of both of our previous employer, common employer, HCL Tech, and you would remember one of the principles that HCL Tech had, and we've been, at Network Science, we've also implemented that as we are building our own culture in the organization, and we call that as trust through transparency.
Yes.
uh, right? And you are a live example. You've actually implemented that in your company, and the way you building the trust with the donor community is just fabulous, right? So awesome. Apurva, considering that we have limited time today, I'm already inspired, and I'm sure the audience
Yeah.
is looking forward to a lot more of this, and I hope that we will find more time to come together on forums like these. I will switch to some knowing you a bit more personally, if that's okay with you. Just a quick
That's
rapid fire questions. Let's see. Let's see. We'll try and bring sustainability in that, uh, and see how it goes. More personal side of yours. So, if you're okay, I'll start with a question on what's the most hilarious or embarrassing sustainable blunder you have made in your personal life.
Okay. So, Sankalptaru started somewhere their operations in the month of July 2012. That was monsoon, typical monsoon period. And I was, though I've been planting trees since my childhood, but then what happened during monsoon when we planted tree in one of our first campaign, it was already raining, and then we happened to pour water to the newly planted tree while it was already raining. So that was not because of ignorance, but then we were so affectionate to that newly planted tree. So we really wanted to water it, but then uh, when we later saw that photo that already it was raining and we were over watering it, it was a little funny. But then on a serious note, though it may not be something very from my personal experience, one thing which I still find very funny and embarrassing, which we follow every day, is like using saplings wrapped up in poly bags.
Yeah,
um,
correct, correct.
so that's something really really a serious and problem at Sankalpur, and I'm sure other community members as well or peers of ours must be thinking about solution around it, how we can really eradicate it
Mm,
from that noble cause itself.
sure, sure. Yeah. Maybe we'll just quickly go to the next one. If you could be uh, an eco-friendly superhero, you already
Okay.
are, by the way. Well, if you had to enhance your superhuman capability, what would be that superpower be?
If you see really these days, you know, littering or people do, spread waste here and there. They do litter here and there, and if you object them, they will really argue with you. So I always think that if I could be I have those superpowers where I can really object them and they don't confront, and accept their mistake silently and they don't repeat it, I believe the job is done. So I want to be that and omnipresent,
Sure.
right? Because people are littering from mountains to oceans to
Mm,
plateaus to everywhere. So
mm.
omnipresent superhero I aspire to be.
Fantastic. Fantastic, Apurva. Maybe we'll just take one last question. If and I'm sure this is part of your and your team's thinking already, but I'm just trying to understand your vision as far as Sankalptaru is concerned. That if you could invent a gadget or an invention to solve the overall sustainability problem or the climate change problem, what would it be and how would it work? Give us your vision, say 10 years from now.
Right. So suppose, if you see the rampant situation of deforestation, every second we lose a football field worth of area. Um, you know, that worth of area is chopped off, right? Those trees are chopped off. So we really want to scale. It means, if we chatted for 30 minutes here, maybe 1,800 hectares of land we might have already lost, right? Because of deforestation. It's a big problem. So we really want to scale. We really want to scale the speed of plantation so that we can overcome these challenges and make planet greener. Certainly, we are looking at some processes, though we have already developed a drone which does seed bombing, right? But we are
Hmm.
looking for more uh, sustainable ways and scalable ways of planting trees, and then increasing this speed. So, I mean, to me, it would be a super gadget if we can really plant millions of trees in few hours and survive them as well. Not only plant, but
Right.
then I believe that would be a good solution for the entire planet.
Oh wow, so Apurva. I mean, this is just brilliant. Thank you very much for your time, for sharing your vision with us. Inspiring. I'm going to urge every single participant and whoever I meet moving forward to plant a tree, gift a tree, find moments where they could come to your platform and donate a tree, so that you and your team can really take this not only in India but globally as well, help solve this climate change problem, help all of us meet the sustainability agenda. Uh, and I'm sure you will be looking to expand your ecosystem as well. So it's just brilliant to hear from you. Thank you very much, Apurva. Thank you for
Th-
your time. It was just
th-
brilliant.
Thank you so much, Sandy. Thank you, and I wish all the best to Deep Tech Innovation Alley. I mean, I'm sure it's a movement itself, right, to create that awareness among people. So all the best ahead. Thank you so much for having me here, Sandy.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Wow, it's so inspiring talk, and I hope this could have gone a lot more ahead. However, we have some amazing sessions coming up. I would now hand over for the next session, and I'm sure there is another inspiring story coming up very, very soon for all of you. Thank you very much for joining in. The next session is just starting in the next 30 to 40 seconds. Thank you.